What up, though, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Don't Be Pressed podcast. It's your girls, Devin and Morgan, Chuckles and Slim. You know what it is.
It's hot.
She didn't do it, so I'll do it for her. She's struggling over there.
Thank you. We're back with another episode. Welcome back. Episode
something.
6, I want to say. We gonna see if that's accurate.
Bro, yeah, at this point, I just want to say, y'all already know the drill. If you're not subscribed to the email list, get subscribed to the email list.
Please.
If you're not following us on all social media, follow us on all social media.
It's so easy. And like we made it easier for you because everything is linked down below, whether you're listening on YouTube, which you should definitely subscribe to if you have not done that already. I don't know.
Because our channels are amazing.
And then also on our podcast streaming platforms, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, literally all the things. Just type in Don't Be Pressed. And you will find us. So Morgan, what are we talking about today?
Today, we are talking about how to own your blackness. As you guys know,
I already know we're going to have to do another, like a bonus episode or a part 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11.
You know a lot of black people who be being black, okay?
There's a lot of blackness to cover.
I am weak. So this season we have been talking about how to own things that people normally deem as dark spots, as negatives. In other words, a stigma, right? So if there's a stigma against being black, just the name itself, like white is good and black is bad. And so they called us black because we were considered bad and ugly and not as smart and all these things. And we have found a way to make it our own because we prove every week on this podcast that we are none of those adjectives that were attributed to the word black. And we own that. We are not brown people. We are black people. There are some brown people who identify as brown people. We have brown skin, but we are not brown people. We are black people. Y'all wanted to use it to hold us back, but we're going to use it.
We're using it now, sis.
And post-break, we're going to be bringing on a guest. Who's going to talk all about how she embraces her blackness.
Power to the people, ladies. Power to people.
But until then, go ahead and enjoy that ad spot. And don't touch that
app. Don't touch that app.
You know we preach self-care and self-love constantly here at DBP. So how about we also practice self-care with a twist of lime? The Poor Life Decision podcast discusses one poor life decision, P-O-U-R, life decision, a week and how to improve. This is a safe space turned podcast for Black women. In addition to hot topics and celebrating everything Black, co-hosts Doyen and Chris discuss topics ranging from mental wellness to overall life improvement. What a great way to kick back with your feet up and talk about what's on your mind. You can check out new episodes of the Poor Life Decision podcast every Thursday on any of your favorite podcast streaming platforms. You can also find them on Instagram at Poor Life Decision, P-O-U-R-L-I-F-E Decision, and on Twitter at PLD Pod. For more info, head to their website, www.poorlifedecision.com. And if you'd like to sign up for an ad spot to feature your podcast or other small business during one of our shows, head to our website to sign up now.
And welcome back. No. I would just like to say, well, first I want to introduce our guest because you see the fro, you see the vibes, ladies, on the screen, the energy. This is my closest friends. Do you want the people to call you Mani or I Mani? Which?
It doesn't really matter. It's fine.
Okay, either one. And guess what? She made these for me. Wait.
Super cute. I'm so jealous. I
really point to in everything. More coming soon. Okay. So Morgan, what are we talking about today?
I love how you just signed her up for more work.
Oh no, she has potential. She will potentially have a business.
That is correct.
Ad spot.
Not ad spot.
If we're putting anybody in the ad spot, it's going to be Monty.
Once I get it together.
Okay, my bad, Devin. Go ahead. Introduce her, because we're just talking to her. Like, we know her, and the people don't know her.
So I want to say undergrad Ivy League grad, but then I can't not mention the grad Ivy League grad. And I just want to throw the name Harvard out there. You've heard of it. I've heard of it. You've heard of it. I need to get my master's. Y'all both got y'all master's. I need to move on. But anyway, yes, this is Monty. She's been my closest friend for, I don't, how many years has it been? We're 4 years out of, like, I want to say like
5, 6.
Yeah, a long time. She's been with me since college, basically, and she's stuck with me for the rest of her life, eternally. But I'm happy that she's here because I think that she will give a really good perspective to our topic today, which is the stigma around Blackness and Black culture and being the Black queens that we are.
Yes, and I would just like to say that I met Monty through Devin at a pen event, and she's been very cool ever since. So I'm excited to do this.
Oh, I forgot.
And we did. Remember, we did you had to do an interview.
Yeah, the confidence thing.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
Yeah, links down below. Shameless plug. So we always start these episodes. This is how we've been doing. We'll start the episode, each listing 2 or 3 stigmas. I mean, it's gonna be so hard to like narrow down the stigmas around Blackness and Black culture because, like, how can you? But we go around asking our guests to name a couple that they've personally experienced. Everyday life, past, present, future.
Yeah, I think one of the big ones for me was like being loud and like ghetto, especially in high school. That was a big one for me. Personally, growing up like with a single mom, I think was a stigma around being Black for me as well. And just like, I guess going into that, like being like promiscuous or like a troubled child, that was something that was put on me a lot also. Or just like being stupid. Or like not as smart. I think were like 3 big ones I dealt with and like and like still deal with sometimes in like certain workspaces. Yeah.
So you're in a two-time Ivy League grad, and you're obviously been in and still in some spaces where you are the only Black individual, only Black female. We could throw some more identities in there. How do you approach imposter syndrome? And for those of listeners who don't know what imposter syndrome is like basically feeling like you don't belong in a situation or that you're less qualified because of the stigma around your identity.
Yeah, I think for school, that's like been the biggest one. I don't know if I've ever actually like overcome it, or if I like still deal with it in those spaces. But I think a lot of the time I try to be like silent and observant and like notice what's going on before I jump in because I don't want anyone to like have a reason to say that like what I'm saying isn't like part of the topic or doesn't fit in there. So I try to make sure I like really know what's going on. And if I don't have anything to say, then I just like am silent. And when I do have something to say, I think I get like a lot of anxiety to make sure that it's like formed in a way that doesn't put those like stigmas back on me.
I mean, preaching, yes.
All
like, of those things.
Like, yeah, literally. And I think it's so interesting because Black women, right, we are the most educated by gender and race. Yeah. And so, and we all have these stories of basically like going into these white or male dominated spaces. Like, could you imagine if most spaces that we went into were even 60% us? in those spaces? Like, how much more free would we feel to disclose ideas? How much more free would we feel to talk in the way that we talk? Because you were talking about, like, you want to make sure that whatever you say is right, eloquently said, in a concise manner, in a manner that doesn't intimidate these individuals. Like, what would it be like if we're just sitting here and we're just chopping, but we're having a completely intellectual conversation?
Yeah.
That would be, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say like that would be so liberating. I feel like it would just like, you're able to like kiki, but we're talking about, just intellectual stuff. And so I just feel like that would be, like a freeing feeling.
Yeah.
I related to you so much, especially on the imposter syndrome at work, because I've noticed that I could not look like somebody. There could be somebody who is literally, the only thing we have in common is Black. They could have red hair down their back, be a completely different skin tone, like just not look like me. But why are our two names always confused? That's one that really like bothers me, because to me it's like, one, you don't care enough to try to differentiate, but then also there's 4 or 5 blonde women who are in their 30s who low-key all dress the same, like no shade, but they definitely all dress the same, and you never get them mixed up. And that's something that's always been huge. And then also in the workplace, I've noticed that like I'm reminded of my Blackness by me doing or saying something, and then somebody being like, huh? Or like not getting it. So I'll say something like I was just talking to Morgan, and I was like, yeah, it's not giving what it's supposed to have gave. And somebody would be like, what? And I would be like, oh, that's my Blackness is showing. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, bro, literally my Blackness is showing.
Like, oh, so I'm like constantly reminded of it. And like, I've been more comfortable now, I think literally only because so many Black women in my family have entered the space before me. Like my cousins who are doctors and like fertility specialists, ENTs, like, what is the kidney doctor name? I know she's opening dialysis practice. My mom, like there's just people who have just like done it. So I'm like blessed to have people to go to, but it's still like a little, my anxiety is always really high of how I'm going to come off to somebody else.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think the worst part, I don't know if y'all can relate, but the worst part to me is like being in a space where like, so I go into a space and I'm from Detroit, which is, I tell people all the time, it's the blackest city in America. You like per capita, like it is the blackest city in America. And so when you go outside of it, you're like, ooh, other people, like y'all do things. Y'all are different. And so I find myself like, first of all, it's like Monty said, like you don't want to come across as too aggressive or too mean, and so I have to put on this. I like smiling anyway, but I feel extra fake because I have to seem extra happy in order to seem not intimidating. My 5'4" self has to seem not intimidating, and so I then say to myself, okay, well, how do I? Even though like I don't really relate to these people because I haven't grown up around these people, I haven't been raised around these people, how do I tolerate them for 8 hours? Because I have to work here. So, or how do I go to school with them, or how do I do projects with them? And so when I do that, I find myself like, okay, let me find things that are in common. So then I become cool with these individuals, like, or work cool, school cool, whatever, y'all know what I mean? Like, those are my school friends. Those my work friends. And so, but the thing is, once I get cool with them in that way, inevitably, there will be a little microaggression. Like, don't get too ghetto, Morgan.
Bro.
What do you mean? I turned all my ghetto off at the door. Because y'all would steal it. Y'all would steal my ghetto and call it your own.
Literally. And profit off of it somehow.
But yeah, like I just, that's the hardest thing to me about trying to own my Blackness. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's just, I hate like, okay, I put myself out there to be accepted and to survive in this space, and now like I'm being made fun of for something that I'm literally trying to diminish already.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, on the flip side of that, like I'm not a person who smiles a lot. I very much have like resting bitch face, like strong. And I'm like introverted. And so when I'm working, I'm like in the zone, I'm quiet, I'm listening to music. And I forgot where I was reading, but it was like Black women cannot be introverts at work because then it's just seen as like you're being like the mean Black girl, the one with the attitude again. And it's like you can't exist in your space. You have to smile and talk to everyone. Like
Mm-hmm.
people are like, oh, she doesn't like me because she didn't say hello. And it's like, well, you also didn't say hello. So I'm just doing my work today like everyone else who shows up and just did their work. And it's like, and like the white women can just be quiet at their desk. That's fine. Or maybe she's having a bad day. But it's like,
Yeah.
oh, didn't smile when she walked in the office today. What did we do? She doesn't like us. And I'm like, it's 8 a.m. I'm tired and I'm coming into work. And we work with teenagers. Like I work with teenagers. So like
Yeah.
sometimes it's not gonna be a good day.
Oh my God, bro.
I feel that, like not being allowed to have a bad day or showing that you have a bad day.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like that's definitely a thing. Even on Zoom, when it was like, oh, you looked so upset on the call. I was like, I was just listening.
I remember that day.
Yes. Oh, like I don't know. I do want to hear, because there's always a way to break the stigma, but like people won't take the time to allow us to break it for their sake. But what is something that you're into, good at, like, or don't like that breaks the stereotypical Black stigma? I guess, Monty, do you want to go first?
That's hard. That breaks it.
Mm-hmm. Or something, I guess, that's not stereotypical Blackness that you enjoy or you don't like. Like, do you not like fried chicken or like something like that?
LOL. No, I'm like I like.
First one that came into my head, and I'm also hungry.
I just want to know who doesn't like fried chicken. If we're really being honest, you could say like I don't eat it for health reasons, but like to say that you don't like the taste, you fucking lying. I don't care who you are. I do not care who you are. And then people are like, ooh, the grease.
Literally, but
Who need the grease?
I'm screaming. I'm sorry, that was not the best example.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. Oh God.
I don't know, like stereotypically Black. I mean, I honestly think that I like most things that are stereotypically
Typically Black.
Black.
You like what is the song? What is the group? Paramore.
Yeah, but see, Black people like Paramore.
That's true. That's not a good one. Who's like one that's like not like, for me, mine is, I feel like I'm really into like the nerdy tech stuff. Like it enjoys me to watch a documentary on like graphic design. Like that's something, not saying other Black people don't do that, but that's not something somebody would look at me and assume that me as a Black person would like.
That's true. That's fair.
One.
I guess I'm like a history nerd. I don't know. Like I really like history. Like I will sit and watch. Like when you said documentary, I'm like, yes, give me like a historical documentary. I will sit there and watch it. Like I spent my day off watching the Pride documentary that FX came out with that like went through the decades. And I was like, this is the most interesting thing I've watched in so long. And I'd be watching like all the scripted, TV shows, but I was like, this is so interesting. I'm learning so much. So I like documentaries and
I wish I had known about that.
it's still out. If you have Hulu, you can watch it. That's where I was watching it.
Sorry, it's just a little bit hard to hear there mowing the lawn.
Oh.
I can't hear them.
Must be nice.
Literally the struggle. Right, Logan?
There's a lot of stuff that I like because I feel like I will say this. I feel like I've been forced to break through stereotypes because I've been in so many spaces where I am the only black person. And so like especially coming down here, which Devin already knows, like I have learned about so many country white boy things that I like am now like engaged in. So like my favorite thing now is like literally going and doing like uh outside activities. I feel like black people don't go out in the where the stereotype is. I don't even think that it's a stereotype. I think it's real life. Like we do not get enough vitamin D because we like do not go outside enough because we're either in bad neighborhoods or we just don't live in like we're afraid of pools because white people have made us afraid of pools or we can't afford to go to beaches or beaches are not around inner cities, which is where most black people reside. And so I've just found myself like really enjoying like more outside activities, which has been phenomenal for my mental health and just doing things away from the screen. So I like to go shoot guns. Like that's some white people shit that I actually enjoy.
That's a good one right there.
That's why I didn't come right out and say, you see how I built it up? You see how I prefaced it for all of that in the beginning? I couldn't just be like, yeah, I'd be shooting guns in the woods.
I hear it's fun though.
No, it is. It's like, it's a, for me, I say this like as a person who struggles with anxiety, depression, I feel like it's like an instant mental release.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause in that moment of that loud noise, like you controlled it. It's something about like the control of it all.
Yeah, I can see that.
So yeah, riding 4-wheelers, jet skiing, I like doing all of that shit.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said ATVs.
I have not. I don't know about that one. See, I'll look. I've been told that I'm an adrenaline junkie, but I am not gonna teeter too far. Like you ain't gonna catch me base jumping, skydiving maybe, but
I'm screaming.
Certain shit is too. White people can have that.
Another one for me, I would say is swimming. Also, I know how to swim. A lot of people don't know I know how to swim.
I don't know how to swim.
My grandpa used to throw me in the deep end and tell me to tread water, so I can tread water for like half an hour now. If I had to, I don't do that on a daily, but like I can swim pretty well. So
would y'all rather it that way? Would you rather learn how to swim by like somebody like just throwing you in and like saying you're gonna die if you don't figure it out, or like
it was built up better than that?
No, but people do that
first time.
But yes,
that is how I kind of learned, because me as a dummy, I jumped into the deep end and there was no lifeguard there, so I had to get myself. Like clearly I'm here, so like I did it. I did learn like 2 weeks ago or earlier in June that I actually can swim. I thought this whole time I couldn't, and there I was swimming.
They tried to make you feel like you couldn't, but you can.
I'm screaming.
I think I like golf too, now that I thought about that. I think that's a big one for me.
Definitely.
Like, I actually really, like, if I could, I would go golfing, just go to the driving range, break out my clubs.
Yeah, my dad is going to appreciate that now that you said that.
And Kevin. And freaking Kevin.
Anyways, so...
But that's a good one, Monty, especially like
really
that. I wish that I was interested in it because so many business deals and like things happen like on the golf course, but that's definitely not a black thing, right? Like how many black people do you see when you go?
Literally.
Not a lot.
Like, name another black golfer that you can just name off the top of your head. Like,
bro, I've only ever seen one like black golf course, and that was in Detroit. Your dad's probably been to it, Chandler Park.
Oh yeah.
But
that's crazy that there's one out of how many, like that's the only one I know of anywhere in the world.
Blackest city.
That's why, it might be why, but anyway, no.
He was like, we gotta make something for ourselves.
Yeah, we do. So we're gonna start one. It's gonna be fine. We're gonna start the black golf course somewhere and make money.
Don't be pressed.
Don't be pressed that your ball is in the sand still after swing 4.
I can see the infomercial now.
Oh God. I do wanna. We always like to end our episodes on how we're gonna own this stigma, how we're gonna just embrace it in our day-to-day lives, or like advice for somebody who might be struggling. There's so many ways to like own Black culture, own our Blackness, but what is like one, I guess, mode of advice you would have for somebody who might be struggling, who may be in like a corporate job, who's struggling with being the only Black person, or in class or something like that?
Yeah, I feel like a big thing for me that I've like come to learn is like Black people are in everything, or like we have this like ability and skill set to like do what we want. So like if you do it, it's now a Black thing because you're doing it and it's Black. And I feel like that's just the mindset like I had to like get into. It's like, well, I'm doing it and I'm Black, so now this is like a Black thing. Yeah. And if I'm the only Black person, I'm just like, it's not my like responsibility to make sure other Black people can do it, but now that I've done it, Black people can. And I feel like that's a big thing we carry, like on ourselves, being the only Black person. It's like, well, now I have to like now I have to like make sure other Black people can do it, but it's kind of like existing in that space is already doing that. Mm-hmm. But you just gotta like exist in that space and be like, well, it's a Black thing now, because like somebody had to do it for all the other things that are now like integrated, like, you know, somebody had to make it a Black thing. So like if you're doing it, it's a Black thing now.
That's a good mindset. It's a Black thing now. How about a shirt? It's a Black thing now. I love that. Not Morgan thinking. Okay. How about you, Morgan? How are you gonna own the stigma?
Well, I think there's several ways, like you said, but really honing in on who you are and meditating on that, right? I think that is great to wake up and do affirmations, reminding yourself of, forgive my language, children, but who the fuck you are. Like looking in the mirror and being like, this is me. I did that. I do that. I'm going to do that. I be doing that, and keep that type of mentality, and also like just feeding your spirit beyond the affirmations, right? Having like podcasts that you listen to that are self-affirming, having books that you read. Like we have wellness books, right? The Power of Positive Thinking and the Growth Mindset. Like just really like honing in on your spirituality and feeding into your spirit. To know that it's okay to be you, right? Like it's okay to, there's never going to be another me. There's never going to be another Devin. There's never going to be another Imani. And so being okay with that and actually owning that and loving that, feeding into your spirit.
Yes. Energy. I'm sorry, I was really processing all of that because I really don't often have that mindset, even now. I really was just like playing that something. But that is all we have for today.
Devin, how do you own the stigma? How are you going to tell our listeners the stigma?
I would say it's kind of a combination of both of you, not to let my existence in something be like as much of a burden and hold so much responsibility where like I just can do it to the best of my ability. Like I don't have to be the spokesperson for all Black people all the time. Like, just because I say something does not mean it's true for every other Black individual on the planet. Like, that, like, having that mindset used to make me not want to speak out and not want to participate in conversations. So just like recognizing that I'm speaking for just me as a being and not for an entire race of individuals. Because there's also regional differences, like within the county. So like I can't speak for everyone.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I have to. I'm still, I mean, obviously I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it.
Same.
It's a process.
It is.
Money.
And you got time. We got time.
You do have time. Do not let people tell you that you don't have time, because it's okay to figure things out into your late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. We're just manifesting us having long, beautiful lives. Also, oh, Moni, thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, this is her second time.
Yes.
And it's always a fun time. Yeah, we got to link the other one down below.
Yes, definitely. And I feel like we learn something every time. And so I'm excited about this. I'm excited for the people to hear this.
I know.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you for coming strong. Hair fleek, face fleek, fit fleek.
Making us look like bums, it's fine. But we love you anyway.
With the words to follow up, though. That's what really put the icing on the cake.
All right, Diamond Club. If you're not following us on all the things, go ahead and make sure you follow us on all the things, as we said at the beginning of the show. Yes, Don't Be Pressed podcast at Don't Be Pressed. And check out our merch, our website, sign up for that email list like we told you at the top of the show. And if subscribe. If you have a business, go ahead and sign up for an ad spot, because we'd love to promote you. All right.
Nevertheless,
Don't be pressed. Deuces.